Great, thank you. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Karen. I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good, thank you. Well, thank you for taking the time to speak with me. I appreciate it.
Oh my God, it's wonderful. Thanks for talking to me about this. I'm excited.
You're welcome. Me too. Well, I wanted to start off asking about writing the script for the feature. I saw that you originally wrote like the short film and then went into the feature. What was that process like and decision into turning the story into the feature and really expanding the script for it as well?
Yeah, I when I started writing this short, it was my goal was really like how do I tell a story in a closed area, right? Like how do I and mostly for budgetary reasons more than anything else, like how do I make the best short film that I can by not using a lot of resources. So it's like, all right, one location, um, small cast, that kind of thing. And after I made it, I'd had so much fun with it that it was like, all right, well, how can I throw more things at these two girls and expand it, build their characters a little bit, show a little bit more about what happened the night before, uh, and the more that I did that, the more I kept throwing stuff at them, the funnier it got, and so it worked out great because I got to just kind of have a chalkboard of like what terrible things can I, who can show up at the door next to kind of make this more interesting and funnier, and it just kept working. So it was a lot of fun. I had a really good time getting to expand it and have these girls get into as much trouble as possible before they got to brunch.
Mhm. And then going into directing with this being your first feature that you directed, what was that experience like as well, coming from your shorts into directing the feature for this?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I was fortunate enough to work on other features in different roles, but working on this one, through working on those other ones, I just knew that priority was working with uh, talented people, but mostly kind people. It's really important to me to have good, kind, fun people on set because you're living with it. Like you're inseparable from a group of like 40 people for at least a month. And so you want to kind of have the best experience with these people that you can. Um, and so with that being like the early parameter, it made everything else just so much easier. It was wonderful to work with such a cool group of creators, producers, you name it. Everybody just had their own niche talent. But it was more importantly, it was just super fun having lunch with them every day.
And with the cast, having such like strong like actresses from like the horror genre in general, and with like Ruby and Scout and the rest of the cast, what was the casting process like overall as well?
It was great. I mean, Ruby got involved first, and she just understood it. She's got a great rhythm because she's a musician, so she kind of picked up quickly on the cadence and the pace of the project. Um, and then Michaela came on later, and again, Michaela's just brilliantly funny and talented and a huge horror fan. Like she's a surprisingly big horror buff. And she clicked, she just understood the script. The two of them got together. That was great. And then ironically enough, I'd cast Buddy Kane next. He played Mark, who gets tied up in the chair. And he'd previously worked on a project with Scout. And I was still casting that role, and he told me I should call her. Uh, I reached out to Scout, and she read the part. And she got it. And, I talked to her, and as soon as she showed up on set, it was like, oh my god, this is going to be great. Like this is easy peasy. So made my job a lot of fun working with such talented people.
And once they signed on to star in the movie, how did you work with them and really building the characters in the story overall as well?
Yeah, it was, I mean, it was very collaborative, you know. I think building the story with them was also majorly in part with the rest of the creative department, right? Like working with the actors and wardrobe and having wardrobe kind of put together um, their costumes with them. That develops the character a little bit more. I had made playlists for them to listen to, and that kind of developed their characters a little bit more. But then they also brought a lot to the table. They brought a lot of their own ideas, and they brought a lot of their own experiences to the table, and that it was just such a fun building process until they showed up and started talking to one another and reading the dialogue. I was like it, they very much came to life in a cool way.
Yeah, with the movie having both the horror elements along with some comic and comedic relief, what was that experience like working with them as well and finding that right balance between the horror and the comedy? Mhm.
Yeah, it's fun. You know what I mean? Like again, when you're working with really talented actors and really talented crew, um, it was sort of fun overall, right? So the horror elements were on our side of things. It was like, how crazy can we make this? You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it would uh, almost be absurd to the point that we're all laughing about it, even though it's like a scarier moment. Um, and the comedy elements were played a little bit more serious, right? So it's like you you try to be more serious and dramatic when it comes to the comedic roles, and that makes them funnier. You try to be super funny about the horrific parts, and that makes it a little bit scarier. And so it
Mhm.
kind of, yeah, I think what was it? Hitchcock said you should film your love scenes like murder scenes, and your murder scenes like love scenes, something like that. And
Mhm.
so we kind of did that, but with comedy, and it it worked out pretty great.
Mhm. And once you were yeah, filming like you mentioned earlier, having the one location for the short and with the feature, how did you decide where exactly you wanted to film and really creating the look for the locations as well?
Oh yeah, I mean I'm from South Jersey, and I've been living in Philadelphia for like 15 years, and so they like the characters and the vibe of the whole story very much resonates with this city. Um, and then when it came to shooting, it was just like, we want to do it close to home. I've been lucky enough to work with a lot of really talented people from around here. Um, and there's a lot of talented people in this area because they've reached to New York, to Philadelphia, uh, Maryland, like anywhere that you're going to shoot. There's a lot of people in this area to pull from. Um, so I was really lucky to be able to do that, and it sort of made it a no-brainer to try to keep everything right in this area. And on top of that, the New Jersey Film Office has been wonderful and incredibly kind to us. The different towns we shot in were all really great to us. Uh, and then the Philadelphia Film Festival, where we're premiering tomorrow, is just like they're friends and we've all worked together. It's a very close knit community. So it was yeah, shooting here, premiering here is all it just feels right. It feels like being home. So
Speaking about the Philadelphia Film Festival and the movie premiering there tomorrow night, and I've covered the festival the past few years. I live in New York and be able to cover
cool.
the Philadelphia Festival as well, and I enjoy it overall. So, what has your experience been like as well, and being able to bring the movie there so far and gearing up for the premiere tomorrow?
Yeah, they're great. I mean, they pull some of the best movies of the year every year. And to be included in this lineup is absolutely an honor. Um, it's it's definitely not easy to get into, um, but it's one that we feel really special about, feel really good about being involved with. Um, so yeah, we're thrilled to be here, and the excitement around the premiere is pretty palpable. Also, everybody seems to be pretty jazzed up about screening this tomorrow, and we're going to be in the big theater downtown, the Philly Film Center. So it's going to be cool to finally get to see this movie on a big screen with big old sound and a whole big room full of
Mhm.
people.
And also, besides directing and writing the feature, what's your experience like also in producing and getting the project going, coming from your experience as a producer in other films as well?
Yeah, I mean that's it's a lot of fun if you like it. I'm a big fan of problem solution. I really like puzzle solving and producing, especially when you're in the development stage and pre-production. That's all it is. It's just puzzle solving. Um, and so it's like I said, I'm very lucky to know a lot of talented crew members, a lot of talented people that work here. So building the team was very easy. Um, and I had a great production team working with me. Suzanne, Tony, and Andrew Vogel, who both also act in the movie, they produced along with me, and they're extraordinarily gifted. And so it's a big team effort. But it's hard to get a movie off the ground. But once you finally get to, it's definitely worth it. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Mhm. And another element of the film that I enjoyed also was the cinematography. I wanted to ask about that experience and how did you decide how you wanted to visually shoot the movie overall?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So the DP was my very very good friend Anthony Baronato. He's incredibly talented. Him and his whole camera team are just wizards with what they do. Um, we knew that we wanted to shoot this anamorphic. We wanted it to be big and wide because we're primarily in this small house, so we wanted to give the house some space and keep it wide so that we could also play with when we wanted them to feel claustrophobic, when we wanted to be close up to them and when we wanted to kind of make it feel like the walls are closing in around them. We had that option. Um, but then, primarily using those big anamorphic lenses and having that big widescreen, it I wanted the audience to always kind of wondering what's happening behind the characters, like what are they hiding? And so it gives you the opportunity to kind of like try to peek around their shoulders a little bit at what might be going on. So yeah, working with Anthony is an incredible experience, and his whole team. They very much picked up on what we were trying to do, and were very skilled at keeping that tone throughout.
Okay, I think that was mainly it, but thank you again for taking the time to speak with me. I appreciate it.
Oh my God, it's wonderful! Thank you so much. You asked some
Yeah,
really great questions. It was a lot of fun.
thank you. Great, thank you